The federal government has introduced legislation to control access to firearms, but some gun control advocates are warning that it doesn't go far enough. A national freeze on importing, buying, or selling handguns is a central feature of firearm control legislation tabled today by the federal Liberals. Gun control advocates are praising the earlier assault-style firearm ban, but conservative MPs and others argue that it targets legitimate gun owners and won't prevent illegal firearms from falling into the wrong hands. Well, joining us now to give us his take on this new legislation is Dr. Irvin Waller, Emeritus Professor at the Department of Criminology at the University of Ottawa and an expert on violence prevention. Dr. Waller, welcome to Forum Daily.
Good day.
So let's start with this, sir. What is the current state of gun violence and crime in Canada?
So if we look over the last 10 years, there has been an uptick in shootings, and there has also been an uptick in the murders with handguns. We basically returned to a murder rate pretty similar to 10 years ago. So it went down for a little time and then it's been going up. But in the last 5 years, there's a clear trend up. It's not as dramatic as anything in the United States, but it is definitely going up.
Definitely a concerning trend there. Now, we mentioned a freeze on handguns in this new plan. What other legal reforms have been introduced in this legislation, sir?
Well, they have continued the action to deal with assault weapons. So the weapons that were used in Uvalde in the United States and Texas recently were AR-15s, well, one AR-15. And so they're continuing to consolidate that ban. In Canada, we've had relatively few shootings as dramatic as what happens weekly or certainly monthly in the United States and hits headlines, but the Polytechnic event was clearly an example, and the mosque attack in Quebec City was a failed attempt, the assault weapon jammed. So they're continuing to do that, and that I think is important.
And one of the biggest obstacles in gun control in Canada has been the illegal market, illegal smuggling of these weapons through the United States-Canada border. So does this legislation effectively address this issue?
Well, I think we've got to make a big distinction between assault weapons. They have not been smuggled, although the case in Nova Scotia is an exception to that. However, handguns, the police estimate somewhere around 80% of all handguns in Toronto that are used illegally have been smuggled into Canada. And basically all of the use of handguns in urban areas are illegal. These are not committed by people who have a license to own those handguns. Now, this may be different in rural areas, but the vast majority of handgun murders and shootings occur in urban areas.
Just about a minute left here, Doctor, but a lot of experts have pointed out that this is a multi-layered issue. So it's not just the banning of weapons that could fix the issue of gun violence in Canada. There needs to be support for vulnerable demographics most involved in such violence. So how can officials do that, sir? Just about over a minute left.
So this is what is missing from the federal policy. We could reduce the handgun homicides in urban areas by more than 50% in the next few years by using the knowledge we have about how to reach those young men involved in that dangerous lifestyle. These are basically street workers who go out and meet them. They're street workers who meet them when they've been shot in hospital emergency rooms. These are courses in schools that get young men to make better decisions. And I think it's important that this is much more likely to work than a ban when it is so easy to shift. It's been so easy to shift drugs across the border from the United States, and it's going to be just as easy to to ship handguns across. If there's a demand for those handguns, they will come across. So let's tackle the demand in a serious way and put serious money in it and be smarter about how we do it.
An important perspective to consider. Dr. Waller, thank you again for joining us today on Forum Daily.
Thank you.